My name is Emma Carter, and last month I learned that the best way to handle family pressure isn't getting mad, it's making a smart, legal move. Have you ever felt like your parents think you're selfish for keeping what belongs to you? Like they expect you to give up everything for the favorite kid who already has so much? That's what happened when my parents found out I inherited my grandma's house worth $750,000. They didn't just ask me to share it. They brought a real estate agent to push me to sell it, saying they'd cut me off if I didn't agree. But they didn't know I'd already sold it 3 days earlier to someone they'd never guess. When they saw who was standing in that house, my mum screamed out loud, "Before I tell you how my sister's own boss became my secret helper, please hit like and subscribe if you enjoy stories about standing up to family drama. I'd love to know where you're watching from and what time it is there. Are you up late like me or watching with your morning juice? Let's go back to where this all began. Being the older daughter should mean something, shouldn't it? In most families, maybe. But in the Carter house, I learned early that being born first didn't matter compared to who could win my parents' love. And that was always Lily. While I took the bus to public school at 7 a.m., my parents drove Lily to Brightwood Academy, a fancy private school that cost more than most people earn in a year. "Emma's tough," Mom would say. "She doesn't need what Lily needs." What she meant was, Emma doesn't deserve what Lily deserves. I remember showing Dad my report card full of A's at the kitchen table. He looked at it for 2 seconds before saying, "Did you see Lily's painting? It's going to be in the city art show. My perfect grades were normal. Lily's every success was a huge deal worth celebrating. Dance classes, piano lessons, summer trips to Europe. Lily got them all." When I wanted to join the school debate team for a $200 fee, Dad said we had to focus on important expenses. That same week, they bought Lily a $3,000 laptop for her art projects. But one person saw everything clearly: Grandma Rose. While my parents cheered at Lily's dance practices, Grandma would quietly come to my room. "How's my smart girl doing?" she'd ask, really caring about my coding club projects and my part-time job at the bookstore. "Why do they love her more, Grandma?" I asked one night when I was 16, after my parents skipped my honor society ceremony to go to Lily's ballet show. She hugged me, her rose-scented perfume feeling like a shield. "They don't love her more, sweetie. They love themselves more. Lily shows what they want to be. You, dear Emma, show who they really are: hard-working, sensible, real. And that scares them." Those words shaped my life. While Lily went to college with our parents' money, I worked 3 jobs to pay for state school. While she switched majors 6 times to find herself, I graduated with top grades in accounting. Boring? Maybe. Useful? Definitely. When I got my accounting license, Grandma was the only one who showed up to celebrate. My parents were in Hawaii for Lily's engagement to a guy she'd known for 3 months, an engagement that ended 4 months later, of course. You'd think I'd be used to being ignored after years of it, but some moments hurt more, leaving marks that remind you where you stand in your family. My 25th birthday was on a Saturday. I mentioned it a few times, not pushing, just hoping for a family dinner. That morning there was nothing, no calls, no texts. By noon, I saw Mum's Facebook post. "Shopping day with my favorite girl. So happy." The photo showed her and Lily at a fancy store, holding shopping bags and sipping fancy drinks. It wasn't even Lily's birthday month. When I graduated with honors, my parents texted, "Good job." When Lily finally graduated, 2 years late with okay grades, they threw a huge party for 50 people, with a professional photographer. The invitation called it a celebration of our bright star's journey. But Grandma Rose never forgot me. Every success, every milestone, every small win, she celebrated. She brought homemade spaghetti to my apartment when I passed my accounting exam. She framed my first business card. She kept a folder of my college essays, bragging to her book club about her amazing granddaughter, the accountant. "You're building something real, Emma. she said at one of our Sunday lunches. Your parents might not see it, but I do. And when I'm gone, you'll have more than just my love to remember me by. I thought she meant pictures or her necklaces. I never dreamed she meant the house. The house on Oak Street was where I spent every summer and holiday while my parents took Lily to contests. It's where I learned to cook, garden, and believe I was worth something. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a garden that bloomed all year, and memories everywhere. When Grandma passed last year, I thought I'd lost my only true family. Then Attorney Lopez called about the will, and everything changed. Even then, sitting in her office, hearing I was the only one getting the house, I knew the story wasn't over. In my family, what's mine is always up for debate, and the vote always went to Lily. The question was, would I let them win again? The house wasn't just a home. It was $750,000 of valuable property in one of the best neighborhoods, 3 blocks from the tech area, close to the train station, with a value that had grown 3 times in 10 years. For me, it was the kitchen where Grandma taught me to bake her famous blueberry pie, the porch where we read together quietly, the garden where she showed me that care and patience make beautiful things grow. Every room held the memories of being seen, valued, and loved without demands. I'd been living in a tiny apartment in a nearby city, 40 minutes from work on a good day, an hour and a half when traffic was bad. The house meant I could have a stable home, a place where I didn't worry about rent hikes or roommates who forgot to pay bills. Even better, it was 2 miles from the tech company where I'd just gotten a senior accountant job, the same company where Lily had just become a marketing manager. She'd been bragging about it for weeks, saying the CEO himself picked her for the job. The house would cut my commute to 5 minutes, save me $2,000 a month in rent, and give me space for a home office, maybe even my own accounting clients. This wasn't just a house, it was my future. But days after the will was read, the calls started. Emma, sweetie, we need to talk about Grandma's house, Mom said, her voice nicer than it had been in years. It's a big job to manage, maybe too big for one person, Dad added, acting worried. Then came Lily's tears. I'm not saying you should give it to me, but maybe we could share it, or you could sell it and split the money. You already have a place to live. My place was a tiny apartment with bad pipes and a landlord who thought heat was optional. But sure, I had a place. The pressure grew, and I knew from experience it would only get worse. In the Carter family, saying no was just the start of a fight. Texts came from 6 a.m. to midnight for 2 weeks straight. Family means sharing, Emma. Don't be greedy. Your sister is starting a new life. She needs this more than you. Grandma would be sad about your selfishness. That last one almost made me laugh. Grandma, who left the house only to me, would be sad? The woman who once said, your parents would sell your shoes if Lily wanted them? Lily's tears turned into loud crying. She called, sobbing about how she and her new boyfriend, yes, another one, wanted to start a life but couldn't afford a house. She said it wasn't fair that I got a free house while she struggled in her fancy apartment that our parents paid for. Then came the big family meeting. Aunt Clara, Uncle James, cousins I hadn't talked to in years, all suddenly cared about family togetherness and fairness. Their messages sounded like they were reading from a script Mum wrote. Think about everyone, not just yourself. Lily's sensitive. You're the strong one. Don't let a house break our family. The Thursday before the meeting at Attorney Lopez's office, Dad sent the final warning. Agree to sell and split the money or you're not part of this family anymore. Your choice. I stared at that text for an hour. Not part of the family, as if I'd ever really been included. Then my phone buzzed with a new message from an unknown number. Emma, this is Ethan Lee. I heard through work you might be selling the house on Oak Street. I'm very interested. Can we talk? Ethan Lee, my old college study buddy who'd built a huge tech company. Ethan Lee, who was now the CEO of the company where Lily worked. The world seemed to have a sense of humor. I looked at Dad's warning, Then Ethan's message, and for the first time in weeks, I smiled. They wanted me to sell the house? Fine, but they didn't say who I had to sell it to. "Hi, Ethan," I typed. "Let's talk, but keep it secret for now." His reply came fast. "Got it. I can meet tonight. And Emma, I remember how they treated you in college. You're in charge this time. If you've ever been the family outsider, expected to give up everything while the favorite gets it all, leave a comment below. How did you stand up for yourself? Are you still fighting that fight? And if this story feels real to you, please like and subscribe. Your support means a lot, especially to those of us who grew up being told we weren't important. Now, let me tell you about the meeting that changed everything. A day my family thought they'd trap me, but instead, they walked right into my plan. Attorney Lopez's meeting room felt tiny with my whole family packed inside. Mom and Dad sat across from me like judges. Lily sat between them, already holding tissues. Even Aunt Clara was there for support. The big wooden table showed their serious faces. They were ready for a fight. "Before we start," Dad said, not letting Attorney Lopez speak, "we brought our own real estate agent." He pointed to a woman in a bright red jacket. "Mrs. Wilson has buyers ready with cash offers." "That's too soon," Attorney Lopez said calmly, fixing her glasses. "Not at all," Mom jumped in. "We're here to fix this as a family." "The will is already decided," I said softly. "Wills can be fought," Dad snapped. "We've talked to lawyers about unfair influence or Grandma's mental state." Lily started crying right on cue. "I can't believe you're making us do this, Emma. After all our parents did for you." I wanted to laugh or maybe cry. Instead, I stayed calm, like Grandma taught me during our board games. "Never show your next move," she'd say. "Emma's being selfish," Mom said loudly. "One daughter keeping everything while the other struggles." "I just want things to be fair," Lily sniffled. "Is that too much?" Mrs. Wilson, the real estate agent, slid papers across the table. "If we list it today, it'll sell in a week. The market's great." "Emma hasn't agreed to sell," Attorney Lopez reminded them. "She will," Dad said in that tone I knew too well, the one that came before every warning when I was a kid. "Because if she doesn't, she's out of this family. No holidays, no birthdays, no contact with future grandkids. Nothing." The room went quiet. Even Aunt Clara looked uneasy. Mom squeezed Lily's hand. "Your sister needs this, Emma. Her new job means she has to host clients. She needs a real house, not that apartment." "The apartment you pay for?" I asked. "That's temporary," Mom snapped, "and it's not your business." Attorney Lopez cleared her throat. "Maybe we should get Emma to sign." Dad cut her off. "Today. Now." I looked at their faces, so sure they'd won. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Ethan. "Contract signed. Ready when you are." "Actually," I said, standing up, "there's something you need to know." "Sit down, Emma," Dad ordered, using the voice that used to scare me as a kid. I stayed standing. "I need to tell you something." "The only thing you need to say is yes," Mom said. "Yes, you'll sell. Yes, you'll share with your sister. Yes, you'll stop being difficult." Lily wiped her eyes. "I already told Jake we might get a house soon." "You're making me look bad, Emma." "Jake, this month's boyfriend." I wondered if he knew about Tom from last month or if that was forgotten, like all of Lily's messes. "Your sister worked so hard for her promotion," Aunt Clara added. "She deserves a house that matches her new role." "Unlike you," Dad said meanly. "An accountant in a tiny apartment. Why do you need a 3-bedroom house?" "She probably wants to rent it out," Lily said. "Make money off Grandma's death." That's awful. The irony of Lily calling anyone money-hungry while demanding my house almost made me lose my cool. Almost. Mrs. Wilson pushed the papers closer. "The offer is good, more than the house is worth. You both get enough for a down payment." "Both?" I looked at the agent. "The house is mine." "Don't be picky," Mom scolded. "Families share." Like you shared college money? I asked. Like you shared birthday parties? Like you showed up to my graduation? Here we go, Dad groaned. Poor Emma and her complaints. You got Grandma's attention, Lily accused. Every Sunday, every holiday, you took her all to yourself. The least you can do is share what she left. Attorney Lopez shifted in her seat. The will is clear. Wills can be broken, Dad said. I've talked to lawyers. Unfair influence is real. An old lady alone with one granddaughter, away from the rest of us. That's not true, I said quietly. Is it? Mom challenged. You were always at her house, telling her we were unfair, turning her against Lily. My phone buzzed again. Ethan. On my way. ETA 15 minutes. I looked at my family, these people who shared my blood but never my struggles, who saw my house as their right, not Grandma's gift to me. You want the house? I asked. Fine, let's go see it. The room filled with confused whispers. Dad's eyes narrowed. What are you up to? No tricks, I said, checking my phone. But if we're doing this, let's do it at the house. You should see what you're so desperate to take. It's not taking if it's family, Mum said, grabbing her purse. Attorney Lopez stood. Any decisions about the house will be made today. Dad interrupted her. We're done waiting. The drive to Oak Street felt like a parade for a sad event. I drove alone while my parents, Lily and Mrs. Wilson rode together, probably planning their final push. Attorney Lopez followed in her fancy car, looking more and more uneasy. My phone rang through the car speakers. It was Ethan. You sure about this? He asked. They want to see the house, I replied. They're about to get their wish. Are the papers filed? Recorded with the county yesterday. It's done, Emma. I know. I glanced in my rearview mirror at my family's car. How's the new car running? Parked in the driveway. See you in 10. Lily had been texting me non-stop. Just do what's right. Don't embarrass yourself. Mom's stressed because of you. That last one was funny. Mom's stress was probably from the thrill of trying to take something else from me for Lily. As we turned onto Oak Street, I saw the house, the familiar old home with its big porch and Grandma's garden. The garden I helped her plant. The porch where she taught me that family is about who chooses you, not just blood. And there, shining in the driveway, was a fancy white car, Ethan's car. Lily gasped so loud I heard it from my car. I parked and got out, watching their faces as they realized what was happening. Lily looked pale. Mom was confused, squinting. Dad was red-faced, not understanding yet. Whose car is that? Mom demanded. That's my CEO's car, Lily whispered. Ethan Lee's car. Your CEO? Dad turned to her. What's he doing here? I walked to the front door, holding keys that no longer worked. Why don't we find out? The door opened before I could knock. There's something you should know about the house, I said, pausing on the porch steps. We know all we need to, Dad said, pushing past me. It's a family house being kept by... He stopped. Ethan Lee stood in the doorway, looking every bit like a CEO in his casual but pricey weekend clothes. The kind of rich that didn't need to show off but was impossible to miss. Mr. Lee, Lily's voice shook. What are you? Why are you? Ms. Carter, Ethan nodded to her politely, then smiled at me warmly. Emma, great timing. Someone explain what's going on, Mom demanded, her voice less sure now. Mrs. Wilson stepped forward, holding out her hand. Mr. Lee, I'm Rachel Wilson. I understand you're interested in... I'm not interested, Ethan said smoothly. I'm the owner. The silence was amazing. Total shock. Dad spoke first. That's impossible. This house belongs to Emma. Belonged, Attorney Lopez corrected. Past tense. 3 days ago, I added quietly. The sale was finished 3 days ago. Lily's face showed every emotion: confusion, disbelief, anger, fear. You sold it? To my boss? Technically, to his investment company, Ethan said. All legal. Attorney Lopez can confirm. Lopez nodded. I checked the papers. It's a clean sale, at fair market value, actually above market value. You can't do this, Mom yelled. We're your family. You had no right. Actually, she had every right, Ethan said, his tone professional, but sharp. It was her property, her choice. But we had buyers, Mrs. Wilson protested. Cash offers. Too late, Ethan said. Dad's face was turning purple. This is fraud. You tricked her, Ethan laughed. A real laugh. Mr. Carter, I paid $800,000 for this house, $20,000 above what she asked. If anyone got a bad deal, it was me. But I wanted this exact house in this exact spot. Why? Lily whispered, probably seeing her job slipping away. Ethan smiled. We're opening a new office for the marketing team. Your team, actually. Lily looked like she might faint. A new office? Here? The company wants to grow in residential areas, Ethan explained, standing in the doorway like he owned it, which he did. Better balance for our teams. This spot is perfect. Dad stepped forward angrily. You tricked my daughter. This is illegal. We'll sue. Which daughter? Ethan asked calmly. Because Emma came to me with a fair offer. I paid more than the house was worth. Everything's on paper. You knew each other before, Mom accused. This was planned. We were study partners in college, I said calmly. Is it illegal to sell to someone I know? When it's to hurt your family? Yes, Dad shouted. Attorney Lopez cleared her throat. Actually, no. That's not illegal. About 30 neighbours had gathered on the sidewalk, watching the Carter family drama like a TV show. Mrs. Park from next door was filming. Mr. Thompson was grinning. Emma, please, Lily begged, tears falling. This is my career, my future. Your career is fine, Ethan assured her, as long as you act professionally. The warning was small but clear. Lily got it. Her tears stopped fast. You mean, girl? Mom started toward me, but Attorney Lopez stepped in. Be careful, Mrs. Carter. Assault charges won't help you. What charges? Dad demanded. We'll fight this sale, fraud, something. On what grounds? Lopez asked. That Emma sold her legal property to a willing buyer? She did it to hurt Lily, Mom cried. I did it to protect my future, I corrected, like you've always protected Lily's. Mrs. Wilson backed toward her car. I should go. This is a family issue. Not anymore, Ethan said. This is a business matter now. You haven't heard the best part, I said, my voice stronger than ever with them. I have a 10-year lease agreement at a low rent. I'll be living here while you, Lily, work here. Lily made a sound like a hurt animal. You'll be here every day? Every single day, I confirmed. Your big promotion? Your fancy new office? It'll be in Grandma's house, with me as your landlord's tenant. This can't be happening, Lily whispered, grabbing Mum's arm. He can't make me work here. That's harassment or something. Ethan stayed calm. The marketing team needs a shared space. This house is for that. You can ask for a transfer, but that might mean a lower role. The hint of a demotion hung in the air. You planned this together, Dad pointed at Ethan and me. This is a plot. It's business, Ethan corrected. Emma needed a buyer. I needed a property. We both got what we wanted. What about what we want? Mom screamed. What about Lily's needs? What about them? I asked, really curious. For 32 years, everything has been about Lily's needs. Her school, her hobbies, her dreams, her mistakes you paid to fix. When was it ever about what I needed? You never needed anything, Dad shot back. You were always strong, independent. I wasn't independent by choice, I said, the words bursting out. I had to be, because every bit of money, every moment of attention, every penny went to her. The neighbours were filming everything. Mrs. Park's daughter joined her. The Thompsons' teenage son was live streaming. We should talk privately, Attorney Lopez suggested. No, I said. They wanted to embarrass me in public. They brought an agent to force a sale. Let's keep it public. My phone buzzed. Ethan glanced at his. The movers are here, he announced. A truck pulled up and 2 men started unloading office furniture. Desks, chairs, a big table. No, Lily whispered. No, no, no. The team meeting is Monday, Ethan told her. 9 a.m. sharp. Don't be late. I won't work here. Lily stomped her foot like a kid. I refuse. That's your choice, Ethan said calmly. HR can talk about your exit package if you want. Mom turned to me, furious. You've ruined your sister's life. Are you happy now? I haven't ruined anything, I replied. I sold my house. She still has her job. You still have your favorite kid. Nothing's changed except I'm not your doormat anymore. Dad stepped close, his voice low and scary. You're done. You're out of this family. I met his eyes. Promise? Can you believe they thought they could force me to sell? What would you have done? Leave a comment below. I really want to know if you think I went too far or not far enough. If you're in California, drop a heart emoji. New York, drop an apple. Wherever you are, if you've faced family bullying, you're not alone. The story isn't over. What happened next changed everything, not just for Lily, but for every relationship in our family. Let me show you what real consequences look like. The drive to Grandma's house, my old house, Ethan's house, whatever it was now, felt like a quiet victory. My family followed in their car, Mom probably complaining, Dad planning legal moves, Lily worrying about her job. I parked and walked to the front door, trying my key one last time before remembering it didn't work. The meaning wasn't lost on me. More neighbours had gathered. Word spreads fast in a quiet neighbourhood. Mrs. Lee from 3 houses down called out, Rose would be so proud of you, Emma. That stopped Mom cold. Proud of this betrayal? Of her granddaughter standing up for herself, Mrs. Lee shot back. We all knew how you treated her. Rose told us everything. The fact that Grandma's neighbours knew our family secrets made Mom's face turn red. Ethan stood on the porch, looking happy with his new property. The movers kept unloading furniture, a desk that probably cost more than my rent. Then I noticed Ethan's car wasn't alone. 3 more fancy cars had arrived, driven by people I recognized from work photos, Ethan's leadership team. What is this? Lily demanded, seeing her department head get out of a shiny car. Site visit, Ethan explained. We're planning the office layout. Your workspace will be in the front room, Lily. The one with the big window. Grandma's reading room where she spent hours with her books and tea watching the street. Now it would be Lily's office, where she'd see me every day. That's us, Lily started, then stopped. What could she say? That it was unfair? That was rich coming from her. Her department head, Sarah Kim, walked over. Lily, didn't expect to see you here, checking out the new space. Lily's mouth opened and closed. Yes, just looking. Emma, Sarah noticed me, shaking my hand. Ethan said you're our tenant. How nice that you'll stay in your grandma's house. You know each other? Mum asked suspiciously. We met at the company holiday party, Sarah explained. Emma did some great work for our finance team last year on taxes. Another secret out. I'd been working with Ethan's company for months, making connections, proving myself in ways that had nothing to do with family. You've been planning this, Dad said, finally getting it. This whole thing to embarrass us. No, I said simply. I've been planning to survive you. Ethan stepped forward, and the street went quiet. Even the movers paused. Mr. and Mrs. Carter, he began, his CEO voice loud and clear. Let me be very clear. 3 days ago, Emma Carter sold me this house for $800,000. The sale is done, filed with the county, and can't be undone. You took advantage, Dad started. I took a fair deal, Ethan cut him off. Emma needed a buyer who cared about her connection to this house. I needed a location for our new office. We both won. And Lily, Mom's voice broke. What about our daughter? Which one? Ethan asked sharply. Because you only seem to care about one of them. Lily stepped forward, makeup smudged. Mr. Lee, please. This is my family. My sister. Can't we work something out? We have, he said. You'll work here Monday for team meetings. Emma will live upstairs per our lease. You'll act professionally. Any harassment of our tenant means you're fired. Harassment? Lily gasped. She's my sister. Who you tried to take her inheritance from, Sarah Kim added, clearly in the know. That stops now. The neighbours loved it. Mr. Thompson had popcorn. Where did he get popcorn? This is blackmail, Dad sputtered. It's consequences, Attorney Lopez said. Something your family doesn't seem to understand. Janet, Mom gasped. You're supposed to be fair. I am fair, Lopez replied. I'm also honest. Your mother, Mrs. Carter, told me not to let you take this house from Emma. She said, Linda and James will try to steal it. Stop them. The silence was heavy. Grandma said that? I asked softly. Lopez nodded. She knew what she was doing. She made the will clear. No sharing, no family override, just Emma. She turned our mother against us, Mom accused. No, Mrs. Park called out. Rose saw who you really were. We all did, showing off Lily while Emma walked behind. That's private, Dad yelled. Not when you're shouting on my new lawn, Ethan said. You're trespassing. Unless Emma invites you in, leave. Everyone looked at me, my family, the neighbours, Ethan, his team, waiting for my choice. The sale is legal, Attorney Lopez continued, pulling papers from her bag. Here's the deed transfer filed 3 days ago. The title is clean, the agreement signed and official. Everything is perfect. She laid the papers on her car hood like proof in a trial. Emma had every right to sell. No debts, no claims. Your threats to fight the will? They won't work. You'd need proof Grandma was tricked when she signed it. But 2 doctors checked her and said she was clear-minded. You knew about this? Dad accused Lopez. I knew Emma was thinking of selling, Lopez said. It's not my job to tell you her choices. But family, Mom started. Has no legal power here, Lopez finished. Emma owes you nothing about this house. Ethan pulled out his phone. I have the payment records. $800,000 sent 3 days ago. Want to see? This is awful, Mom spat. Using money to break family ties. The only thing broken is your idea that you could control Emma forever, Ethan replied. I watched Lily process it all. Her boss owned her new office, the house she tried to take from me. She'd see me every day, knowing I could have made her life harder, but chose to protect myself instead. There's more, I said quietly. My lease has a clause. I can buy the house back for what Ethan paid if he ever sells. What? Dad's head turned to me. It means, Attorney Lopez explained, Emma can buy it back for $800,000 whenever Ethan sells. She's not just a tenant. She has future rights. That's... Mom struggled. That's planning. Long-term planning, I said. Something you never taught me, but Grandma did. She said the best way to win isn't with anger. It's with smart contracts. Ethan smiled. Your grandma sounds like a wise lady. She was, I said, looking at my parents. She saw what you never did, that I wasn't weak because I was quiet. I was watching, learning, waiting. For what? Lily asked. For the moment you tried to take the one thing that was mine, I said, pointing to the papers, the house, the neighbours watching. And here we are. So let me get this, Lily said slowly, her marketing brain finally working. I have to work in this house. My office is in Grandma's reading room, and you'll live upstairs. Correct, Ethan confirmed. And if you refuse, that's your choice. But saying no to a normal work assignment could be seen as not doing your job. This isn't normal, Lily protested. This is punishment. This is business, Sarah Kim said. This house was picked for its location and home-like feel for creative work. Your personal connection doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? Mom screamed. My daughter has to work in a house she should have gotten. Should have? I asked. Because she was born second? Because she's prettier? Because you love her more? Because she needs it more, Dad shouted. No, I said firmly. She wants it more. There's a difference. I need a stable home. She wants a fancy prize. I need freedom from your control. She wants another toy you'll buy her. How dare you? Mom started toward me again. Ethan stepped in. Mrs. Carter, you're on private property. Leave now or I'll call the police. You wouldn't, Dad challenged. Ethan was already dialing. Santa Clara Police, I need help with trespassers at 427 Oak Street. We're leaving. Mom grabbed Dad's arm. But this isn't over. It is, I said. The house is sold. The papers are signed. Lily starts her new office Monday, and I'll live my life here, my way. Your home? Lily laughed bitterly. I'm a tenant with a 10-year lease at low rent and the right to buy it back, I reminded her. That's more than you'll ever have. A police car pulled up, lights off but visible. My parents backed toward their car. You chose strangers over family, Mom said, her last shot. No, I corrected. I chose myself over people who never chose me. This is your fault, Lily hissed at me. When Mr. Lee gets bored of this game, when you're alone with no family, remember you did this. I'll remember, I promised. Every morning when I wake up in Grandma's house, every evening when I tend her garden, every time I don't have to beg for respect from people who should have loved me the same. They left, Mom crying loudly, Dad red-faced and muttering about lawyers, Lily quiet and stunned. The fallout was fast and harsh. Within an hour, Mom posted on Facebook, heartbroken. When money matters more than a mother's love, some daughters are just cruel. Aunt Clara called 15 minutes later. Emma, what happened? Your mum says you sold the house to spite them. I sold my house to someone who paid more than it was worth, I said simply. That he's Lily's CEO is just luck. Clara laughed. Luck? No way. Good for you, kid. Your grandma would be laughing so hard. The family group chat went crazy. Cousins taking sides, uncles threatening lawsuits they couldn't pay for, aunts acting shocked. But the best part was the neighbours' group chat that Mrs. Park added me to. Finally, someone stood up to those awful people. Rose always said Emma was the smart one. Did you see James's face? So good. Linda's been bragging about Lily for years, but she won't talk about her new office. Monday morning felt like a holiday. I woke up in Grandma's bed, in Grandma's house, and made coffee in Grandma's kitchen. At 8:45 a.m., cars started arriving. Lily's car pulled up at 8:58. She sat in it for 5 minutes, probably psyching herself up. When she got out, she looked up at my window. I waved. Her face was worth every family dinner I'd sat through quietly. Sarah Kim ran the meeting in what used to be Grandma's reading room. I could hear bits through the old vents, talk about new workspace ideas and home-like offices, fancy words for, "Your sister's in charge now." At lunch, Lily knocked on my door. "Can we talk?" I let her in. She looked around my upstairs apartment, my books, my plants, my life. "This isn't fair," she said quietly. "What isn't? You working here, me living here?" "It's like torture," she said. "It's consequences," I corrected. "You tried to take my house. Now you work in it. I'm your sister." "Yes," I agreed. "And that should have meant something to you before you tried to steal from me." She left without another word. That evening, Ethan called. "How was day one?" "Eye-opening," I said. "For everyone. No regrets." I looked around Grandma's kitchen, her dishes in the cabinets, her apron on the hook. Not one. 3 months later, things had settled like dust in a calm room. Lily arrived every morning at exactly 9 a.m. Never early, never late. She'd park in the employee spot Ethan marked, grab her things like a robot, and walk past my door without looking up. Downstairs was all business, computers, whiteboards, the hum of work. Upstairs was still Grandma's safe place, my safe place, untouched by office goals. "Your parents called again," Ethan told me during a monthly check-in. "They offered to buy the house for double what I paid." "And?" "I said it's not for sale. Your dad wasn't happy. Sounds right?" The real change was in Lily. Without our parents' constant support, without their money to soften every fall, she was struggling. Her work was average, her ideas boring. Sarah Kim had put her on a plan to improve. "She's never had to really work before," Sarah told me one day in the garden. "Your parents' connections got her the job, but connections don't make good marketing plans." The family fell apart completely. Thanksgiving passed without a word. Christmas, too. Mom sent one text. "You're missing Lily's engagement party." Jake, or maybe it was Josh, had proposed. I didn't keep track anymore. But here's what I gained. Peace. Mornings with coffee in Grandma's garden. Evenings with books in her reading chair after work hours. Weekends tending her roses, which bloomed despite everything. "You know what Grandma told me once?" I said to Ethan during a property check. "She said the Carter family was like a garden where only one flower could grow. Everything else got cut down. Now I'm growing free." The money helped too. With my accounting job, consulting work, and low rent, I saved more in 3 months than in the past 3 years. Meanwhile, Lily was learning life without our parents' money. Her fancy apartment was gone, her designer clothes and car traded for cheaper ones. "It's not fair," she complained to a co-worker, not knowing I could hear through the vents. "She got everything." "Didn't she inherit it?" the co-worker asked. "That's not the point." But it was the point. I'd kept what was mine. 6 months after the sale, I was in Grandma's garden at sunset, planting spring flowers. The office noise downstairs had stopped hours ago. The house was mine again, quiet in the way Grandma said was good for the heart. My phone rang. "Mom," she said, "your sister lost her job today." "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. I didn't enjoy Lily's failures. "This is your fault. The stress of working in that house, seeing you every day, ruined her work." "Her work was her job," I said. "Not mine." "Family helps family, Emma. Family respects family." "Mom, you taught me that. Just not the way you meant." She hung up. Ethan called later. "Lily's firing was about her work, not the house. I wanted you to know." "I know," I said. "I heard her calls through the vents." She relied on charm in a job that needed real skill. "You could have helped her," he said gently. "I could have," I agreed, but she never asked. She demanded, tricked, cried, and threatened, but never asked. That night, I found a box in Grandma's closet I'd missed. Inside were letters, dozens of them, addressed to me but never sent. I opened one. My dearest Emma, I see them dim your light, and it hurts my heart. But I see the spark in you they're trying to hide. It's not gone, just waiting. One day, you'll get to let it shine. Don't feel bad. Take what's yours and build the life you deserve. All my love, Grandma. It was dated 3 years ago. She'd been planning this even then. The house was quiet now. Ethan had moved the marketing team to a real office after Lily left. He only needed the house for 6 months to prove his point, but my lease was solid. 10 years of security at a low rate to save and grow. You won? Lily texted me that morning. Happy? I'm free, I replied. That's different. The garden bloomed as spring came fully. Every plant Grandma loved, every flower she cared for, grew stronger. Neighbors stopped by often, sharing new stories about Grandma, treating me like I belonged. Because I did. Your parents are selling their house, Mrs. Park said over tea. Moving to Arizona to start fresh where no one knows them. Running away, what they did best when life didn't match their story. But I wasn't running. I was rooted here in Grandma's house, her garden, the life she made possible. Not out of anger, but out of love. Love for myself, the kind Grandma taught me. The kind my parents tried to take away. The kind that grew anyway. Family isn't who you're born to, Grandma wrote in another letter. It's who stands by you when it costs them something. By that measure, I had lost nothing and gained everything. Thanks for hearing my story. I know it was long, but family drama always is, right? If you've had to choose between keeping peace and keeping your self-worth, share it in the comments. What boundaries did you set? What did it cost? What did you gain? If you think I did the right thing, hit like. If you think I went too far, tell me why. I want to hear other views. Subscribe for more stories about standing up to family pressure with plans, not yelling. Until next time, remember the best way to win is with a smart legal contract.